Novo.
Novo.
Welcome back, everybody. The stream has officially started. I hope you enjoy the music in the background. That was Guantanamo, tracked by Novo Beats. I'm going to leave it playing. Let me know if it is too loud. Dave Marks, thanks for joining. Did you join me to yell at the government? I'm yelling at my laptop, which I hope reaches somebody. Oh, man. Chinese food's good, though. It's too loud again? Alright, I'm going to turn it down. Alright, so that's like the lowest it can go. So hopefully that works. I'm checking out my soundbar. Oh god, my ears, no. Really? Hold on. I'm checking out my soundbar. My ears. Hold on. Yeah, okay, so I know it's working now. You are such a dick. Thank you, Kyle Jordan Gaming. So today I've got some stuff pulled up on what Prop 47 actually is, what it's kind of done to the city of San Francisco, a lot of the issues surrounding it. And then specifically, I'm going to talk about the man on the screen here, the San Francisco District Attorney, Chesa Boudin, his history, basically, man, this guy is terrible. Imagine if a prosecutor, right, like a hardcore prosecutor, like, you know, throw the book at everybody, if he decided he was going to become a defense attorney, right? But he was still going to act like a prosecutor the entire time. He was basically going to sell his clients out. He was going to go to the opposite. He was going to go to the other side and basically give them everything his client has ever stated. He's going to basically sell his client. That's like what Chesa Boudin is in reverse, right? He doesn't want to prosecute crimes. And he actually has some really interesting ideas on how to placate the community. And one of them is he's going to pay them money to turn the other cheek. Anyways, let me transition this over. So first, we're going to read through exactly what Proposition 47 is. I don't want you to just take my word for it, even though, you know, you can always trust Crow. So give me 1 second. We're still low tech here. I refuse to change. So, this is Ballotpedia, California Proposition 47, Reduced Penalties for Some Crimes Initiative. It's actually called Proposition 47 Safe Neighborhoods and Schools Act, like something like that, like a really peachy keen name. But essentially, it kind of turned a lot of crimes into just straight-up misdemeanors. And Aura put together a thumbnail today, and as you saw, remove the felony, remove the barrier. Crime is on the rise basically all over California, but specifically San Francisco. Racketeering is becoming a major thing. But let's read through this. What did the measure do? The initiative classified certain crimes as misdemeanors instead of felonies unless the defendant has prior convictions for murder, RAPE, certain sex offenses, or certain gun crimes, because there had to be some sort of limit. Permitted resentencing for those currently serving a prison sentence for any of those offenses that the initiative reduced to misdemeanors. Under Proposition 47, 10,000 inmates were eligible for resentencing, according to Lenore Anderson of Californians for Safety and Justice. Required a review of criminal history and risk assessment of any individuals before resentencing to ensure they do not pose a risk to the public. Created a Safe Neighborhoods and Schools Fund. That's where they got the name for Proposition 47. So everyone's signing on to this, thinking, oh, I like safe neighborhoods and schools. He got screwed over hard. The fund was set to receive appropriations based on savings accrued by the state during the fiscal year as compared to the previous fiscal year due to the initiative's implementation. So what they were saying was, well, because we're now going to be saving money by not holding people in prison, we're going to take that money and we're going to give it to the schools and the neighborhoods as part of a fund, right? So Brilliant idea. They made it retroactive, meaning it could go back to anyone who's currently convicted of these crimes. And on the face of it, it would sound like this is kind of a decent thing to do for certain things. Now, it really isn't. It really is not, because what's happened is, as you can see here, what crimes were affected? Shoplifting, where the value of property stolen does not exceed $950. Grand theft, where the value of the stolen property does not exceed $950. Receiving stolen property, where the value in the property does not exceed $950. Forgery, fraud, writing a bad check. I mean, most people don't get prosecuted when they mistakenly write a bad check. Most places will allow you to reprocess it if there's an issue. And the personal use of most illegal drugs, that was a good one. But if you can see, the top three here, you've set up racketeering now, because I can go into San Francisco. I mean, it's just a misdemeanor, right? I don't have to worry about prison time. So let's say I'm a criminal, and I decide I'm going to go down to, I don't know, like Walgreens or like a body shop, or just, some cheapy little car on the street, and I steal it. I can then hand it over to my friend. He can sell it for me. He's not in trouble. He didn't. I mean, are you really going to prosecute him for a misdemeanor even? Like, what's your proof, right? And even so, why are you going to bother with a misdemeanor? Oh, man. So, they're going into stores. They're stealing property. They're stealing property and totaling up to just under that $950 limit. And then they're selling it elsewhere, right? So, businesses are being forced to shut down. They're having to call the police nonstop. And this is really bad in San Francisco because, specifically, the man Chesa Boudin has decided he is not going to be prosecuting people. He wants to limit prosecutions of people. He wants restorative justice. He wants to he basically he's basically a defense attorney. And that's what he was right before becoming the district attorney. He was assistant defense attorney, and all he wants to do is focus instead on mass incarcerations. He wants to focus on police brutality, police crimes, police misconduct. That's who you have as essentially the top cop in San Francisco. So it's backwards. It is backwards. It's Banana Town. It is terrible. Let me read through some of you guys' chats. We'll keep going. There's Kyle Jordan. I'm good. I'm just being a jerk. You are a jerk, but thank you for the heart. Kyle's fucking with you. I'm not one to judge on appearances, but he looks like he's about to try and sell me a used car. He kinda does. But on a further inspection, it's not even a car, it's like a duck. This guy looks like he ate... Oh, man. Oh, Dave. That's mean. You guys are... Yeah, he is ugly. People can be ugly and they can do good things. People can be ugly and they can do bad things. Chesa Boudin just happens to be very ugly and very bad. $950, that's a weird number. Yeah, I think the reason why is they didn't want, they want to keep it from like $1,000 and over. I think if people saw $1,000, they may have had more of a visceral reaction, but you say $950, believe me, even that's too much. And the fact that they did all of this at one time has led to just this massive rise in crime in San Francisco. And let's go ahead and get going through this because I want to show you. I got a couple of things pulled up on Twitter here from San Francisco talking about the DA running in Los Angeles County. A little bit of a side story. Apparently, he was one of the co-writers for Prop 47. He's calling Prop 47 a major success, and he's promising to bring San Francisco to Los Angeles because he is an absolute moron. But let's take a look. Now, this went viral. I actually saw it on Timcast, and I do not believe it was from this poster, but I'm going to play you the video. This is from the Walgreens in San Francisco. As you can see, there are 3 separate individuals who are just looting the store. San Francisco, everybody.
Please leave the store.
Oh my God! Call the police! Yeah, we need a police officer. Major robbery involving 1630 Ocean Avenue.
Yeah, too bad.
So basically what's happening right now is most of these people are not actually from San Francisco, right? They're showing up from Oakland. They're showing up from, like, as far as San Jose. And they're just going into San Francisco to abuse the system there because they know 100% it's a misdemeanor no matter what, but also that the district attorney is not seeking to prosecute crimes like this. Now, he's publicly stated already, he's not going to prosecute public urination. He's not prosecuting prostitution. He's not prosecuting basically what he would refer to as like victimless crimes, right? And because of that, there's a whole mess of shit going on in the city. But also, he feels like that he kind of feels like putting people in prison is excessive, and he doesn't want to do it. He wants to focus instead on other things, and we'll go into that in a second. Here's the next one. So, if you can see here, what you have right now are homeless people in San Francisco. They're running into stores. They're taking all the food, and then they're selling them off on Mission Street. So, as you can see, like, just candy bars, like, kind of junk that you would find, like, in little, like, $1, $5 knickknacks. They're just running into these businesses, getting them shut down, stealing all their products, and then selling them for, like, 100% profit. They're not... they're not going back to the store and saying, you know what, I feel bad, here's half. They're just saying, fuck you, you charge too much, it's mine, and then they're going out there and selling it for more money. San Francisco is it used to be a very lovely city. You see the Muni cars there, but all of this crap is stolen property. And what are the cops really going to do? Go hassle some people for misdemeanors? Right? The thing is, the DA's already kind of said, like, I'm going after police for misconduct. I don't like it, like the way the police have heavy-handed actions and shit. So what are they going to do? Start arresting these people? The DA will start slamming the book at them instead. Like, it is a nightmare. This next one's a little nasty. I'm warning you all right now. You're not going to really like this one. That's it. I'm skipping over to the next topic. As you can see, people are just shitting in the streets. It's not a crime anymore, guys. It's legal. I mean, technically it's a crime still. He's just not going to prosecute. And here's another one. San Francisco DA Chesa Boudin ends cash bail for all criminal cases. So, let's say, and I can kind of understand this one a little bit. It's just, it's all happening at the same time. You've turned a lot of crimes into misdemeanors. You stated that you're not going to prosecute people. And then on top of it, you're saying, I'm also ending cash bail. It gets worse. He has more policies in place, though. Do not worry. Now, this is an article from the Stanford Review. I'm going to read through this one with you first, and then we're going to go into some of the changes that Chesa Boudin has promised. I'll read through you guys' chats. Last month, San Francisco got a new district attorney, Chesa Boudin. The city by the bay's new top prosecutor has made it his signature policy, if you can call it that, to not enforce laws against so-called quality of life crimes. I say victimless crimes, but, say it's the same thing. Public urination. So if you want to take a piss in the street, not a crime. Prostitution, not a crime. Camping. So if you want to, let's say you're homeless, right? And you want to set up your homeless camp right outside someone's business, not a crime. Drug use, not a crime. So people are shooting up heroin. There's needles in the streets now. There's needles in freaking schoolyards. It is awful. And now, don't get me wrong. Personally, when it comes to drug use, I'd rather you go help people. But how are you helping them when you basically tell them, yeah, just do your thing? Come on. Come on. On its own, this is totally crazy. Incarceration isn't the answer to everything. The real problem comes when this policy is combined with another, California's Proposition 47, laughably referred to by its proponents as the Safe Neighborhood and Schools Act. Like I said, it's not so much that one of these things occurred. It's that it's all going on at the same time, and it's happening immediately, right? So, and I do like the writer of this article. Who wrote this? Maxwell Meyer. Yeah, he thought it too. It is laughably referred to by its proponents as the Safe Neighborhood and Schools Act. The 2014 ballot initiative reclassified a slew of felonies as misdemeanors. We went through the list already. And then, of course, possession of illegal drugs and personal use of most illegal drugs is not a crime. So cocaine, heroin. I don't know exactly what is still illegal. Maybe meth, because meth is a white person's drug. So to clarify, what Bay Area innovation have the progressive goons cooked up to deal with soaring property crime and hard drug use on the street? Legalize it. He's not wrong. I know it's a really biased article. I know I'm super biased, but I'm not finding a falsehood or a misframing or anything here. Despite having never prosecuted a case himself, Boudin has already fired 6 career criminal prosecutors in the DA's office, had a photo op with Angela Davis, ended cash bail for all criminal cases, and dropped charges against a man accused of violently attacking police officers with a vodka bottle. In that last case, the SF Police Union has called for a federal intervention, and one can hardly blame them. Now, I want to be very clear. The case they're referring to, I cannot remember the name of the individual himself. If you look it up, he was a homeless man. I believe he was 24. May have been Jamaica Hampton. I cannot remember the exact name. He went up to officers, attacked them with a bottle, and the officers shot him. So he wound up getting his leg amputated. And the district attorney said, you know what? We're not going to prosecute him. We first need to investigate the officers who did the shooting. And it would be it would be inconvenient to have them testify against this criminal while we're investigating them to see if, they went too far. Boudin's a piece of shit. Boudin's sympathy with violent criminals will have real and negative effects on law-abiding residents, property, and small business owners. It will ruin public spaces in San Francisco and potentially endanger lives. Check, and check. Specifically the potentially endangering lives. There is a case where he dropped charges against a 20-year-old man. He's black. He went up with a 57-year-old man. I believe who was also black. I cannot remember. And the hate crime was that they filmed themselves beating the crap out of an Asian guy who was recycling. It turns out the man was Chinese, and in the video they're saying things like, "I hate Asians," while beating this man. So, according to the DA, though, the best solution in that case is restorative justice and not prosecuting an actual hate crime where the assailants film themselves beating somebody. So, just innocent school kids, right? Now, they've got more on this guy. To understand Mr. Boudin's revolutionary streak and assault on the rule of law, I think it's worth tracing his radical origin story, a story he used to sell well-meaning progressive voters on his agenda of reform. To no fault of his own, Mr. Boudin's parents were members of the Weather Underground, a far-left militant terrorist group, and were imprisoned when he was a baby for taking part in a robbery that resulted in the deaths of 3 people. With his parents behind bars, he was raised by the radical leaders of that group. So, just to be clear, when he was a baby, his parents, who were part of a far-left militant group that committed terrorist attacks, left him at home. They got into their car. They committed an armored car robbery, botched the crime, killed the driver, killed 2 police officers, and spent their lives in prison. Chesa was then raised by that same group, and he believes that it was unfair that his parents were in prison. And he has stated this. He says he doesn't believe incarceration works. Obviously, I mean, he has no personal vendetta against it. It's not like his parents served life in prison, and he was told by the group that inspired his parents worked with, that, you know, they were justified in their actions, and the police are the issue. You know, that's speculation, I guess. That's all speculation. After graduating from Yale Law School and Oxford on a Rhodes Scholarship. Yeah, so this guy also, the guy who wants to free all the criminals. I know. Not literally free all the criminals, but just not prosecute them. But, you know, I feel bad for him in the sense that he had shitty parents. He had shitty people raising him who put shitty things into his head, and now he's bonkers crazy. And it is a sob story, right? It is. And he used that sob story to gain power, and now he's abusing the fuck out of that power. And it's sad. It's sad for everyone in San Francisco because, you know what? Most of these people listen to this idiot, weren't actually thinking. They thought, oh, well, you know, we do need reform. You know, it is too aggressive. You know, you shouldn't be giving someone 3 strikes and send to prison for 10 years for stealing a candy bar. That's not what was happening. And that's not what this idiot was undoing. He was undoing actual fucking crimes. And San Francisco is falling to pieces under him. Man. And it pisses me off because this is a white dude who was raised with privilege, who went to a nice school, who got a free ride through Yale, right? We're not talking about someone who ever struggled, whose parents were vicious murderers. This guy, who's not even from San Francisco, who's from fucking New York, goes to San Francisco, plays on people's emotions, and then just tears it all down. That, you know what? That's not your fucked up parents, your fucking degenerate parents. It's not their degenerate militant terrorist group. That's all Chesa Boudin's decision at this point. After graduating from Yale Law School and Oxford, Mr. Boudin traveled extensively in South America to live in solidarity with the working class, because he's not a part of the working class. He even wrote a book about it called Gringo, a coming of age in Latin America. You know what, motherfucker? There are plenty of places in the United States with working class people affected by the crimes you are sitting there refusing to prosecute. Why don't you spend like a week with them? Actually, you know what? Don't, because they'd probably beat you down because they can't stand you. During this exotic tour of performative poverty, Mr. Boudin worked as a translator for the Venezuelan government of Hugo Chavez. He's a gem. He's a fucking gem. In an essay in 2009, Mr. Boudin congratulated Chavez for eliminating term limits on his own presidency. Oh, man. I'm gonna read you guys' chats. I'm having trouble going through this shit. Guys. Guys, what do I do? This is my hometown, and it is destroyed now. No, honestly, I left San Francisco. I left California. I'm now in Indiana because I am getting married. I'm getting married in October, so congrats to me. But yeah, I I'm kind of glad I'm out of California because it is fake, it's plastic, it's a bunch of people saying they care, instituting things, voting for stupid shit like raising their own taxes, and never caring about the consequences of any of their actions, just feeling good because, you know, they're helping the less privileged. Like, bitch, I grew up in a goddamn trailer park. I got a chronic health condition. You know, I'm Muslim. My dad's from a different country. I'm underprivileged. I've always been underprivileged. I need shit from these people. Look what happens. You think they're helping anybody? No, this motherfucker is just making himself feel good. Because he had a screwed up childhood. Because he has both mommy and daddy issues. And I hate him. Like, I don't tend to say I hate people, but I really hate this individual. Because he's taken the reins of power all to fulfill his own little fantasy. And it is disgusting. This motherfucker praised Hugo Chavez for removing his own term limits. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Few countries can boast such remarkable gains in just a decade. Yeah, Venezuela, everybody. Venezuela. Great country. Mr. Boudin, here in reference to as Comrade Gringo. God. Beta male as fuck. In 2009, Venezuela was one of the richer and more democratic countries in the Western Hemisphere. Needless to say, this is no longer the case. Hugo Chavez set Venezuelan democracy on the path to backwardness, destitution, and dictatorship, or as his loyal servant Comrade Gringo might put it, remarkable progress. Well, you know what? Maybe, because Comrade Gringo definitely sees what he is doing in San Francisco as remarkable progress. Just as Venezuela fell into shit and ruin and lost all its wealth, Chesa Boudin is intent on seeing that future take place in San Francisco. Which, SF is kind of an oligarchy, so I'm not too sure how to feel about that. I like how they just refer to him as Comrade Gringo from now on. It seems Comrade Gringo has frontline experience turning first-rate places into third-world hellholes, so naturally he'll be perfect for San Francisco, and he has wasted no time getting to work. In Comrade Gringo's new San Francisco, a naked prostitute on heroin can defecate in a grocery store aisle, take up to $950 of goods, walk back to their tent on a city sidewalk, steal a handgun, and drop some needles along the way, and then solicit sex or drugs, or both, to pedestrians outside a local business with just a citation, if that. Now, obviously, that's a lot. That would be a lot, but here's the thing. If he's pointing out the absurdity of that crime, because you'd sit there and say, well, someone would need to stop it. No. Chesa Boudin has made it clear. He will not prosecute an individual who does any of that. He will not prosecute an individual who does all of that. But God forbid that prostitute should offer those pedestrians a plastic straw for hell out no fury, like San Francisco officials, when the planet is threatened. Think that sea level rise and climate change are going to make the California coast uninhabitable in the next century? Newsflash. Idiotic and lawless policies from the likes of Comrade Gringo, Chesa Boudin, are currently rendering one of America's most beautiful and historic cities unlivable. So, what do you think? Was that a total biased article? Kind of, right? Like, that was just all biased. Oh, thank you, David Marks. Really appreciate that. You did! You forgot about the straws? Yes, the straws are still a thing. The priorities in San Francisco are backwards. And the problem is, people just want to feel good. They want to feel good. They want to feel like they achieved something. They want to feel like they're standing up for people who are less privileged than them. And they sit there and they think that they are better than everyone else because they did something stupid and idiotic like voting for Proposition 47 because it had a nice name. They sat there and they voted in a complete degenerate like Chesa Boudin because, you know, they felt really bad for him. These idiots do not understand that their actions have consequences at all, and they are destroying that city. And you know what's really nasty? Because, you know, Pelosi, right? Speaker of the House, she's from San Francisco. You know where she lives? In a damn mansion. You know where that mansion is? Fenced off from all of this crap. Not giving a shit. And they never do. That's the sad part. Yeah. It's woke bullshit, Crow. Yep. And Corona, thank you for joining. Yes, San Francisco is 100% the poop city. There's no getting around that. They literally have to have poop patrols go through the city because it is covered in human feces. And this idiot turned around and said, you know what? Let's just make that legal. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do because it's sad. You know, my mom still works in the city. She works over at one of the hospitals over there. It's really bad. I'm glad my fiance and I are done with California, but it gets worse. San Francisco DA Chesa Boudin rolls out new policies on gang enhancement police stops. Yeah, this was a fun one. And Boudin rolled out a list of directives which he said are important to communities of color who are disproportionately affected by crime. So what in his mind, he thinks that, you know, the cops are going specifically into minority communities, right? For the purpose of just arresting minorities because they don't like minorities. What he doesn't understand is a lot of these minority communities, they are lower income. Poverty does breed crime. If you want to address that, we need to all address that. Instead, what he's saying, well, we're not going to prosecute. We're not going to go into these communities. You know, this is just bad. But like, they're stealing from the people in those communities. They're shooting the people in those communities. They're not going outside of those communities to commit the crimes. Fuck. There's like a total disconnect from reality. They're doing it to each other. The people there don't want this shit. They want to just go on and live their fucking lives. They don't want to see the cops there 24/7. Don't get me wrong, obviously not. But they also don't want to see the criminals there 24/7 as well. They want it dealt with. Most of these drug crimes that they talk about in the inner cities, right? Those like super harsh sentences for things like coke and shit and all that other crap. Those were voted in by Democrats. Those were voted in by people in those communities. They were written by people from those communities, not because they hated the people in the communities, because they were trying to help. Heavy-handed action doesn't help, and neither does taking your hands off the wheel and saying, this is fine as the city burns down around you. Oh, man. Among those charges, the district attorney's office will no longer charge defendants with the possession of contraband in cases where the illegal goods were obtained through stop and frisk style pretextual searches. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of stop and frisk at all. I know some conservatives really like it. Stop and frisk started off as a gun control measure where they could just go around, stop someone, frisk them. I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not. But the thing is, if you stop someone because you think they're doing something, and you frisk them and you find a bunch of drugs, I also don't want that person being handed the drugs back and said, oh, you know what? I went too far by looking in your pockets. Like, I don't know how you fix this. It's too much at once. Some of these things sound smart, but there's no control to any of it. It's all being done at the same time, and it's... And it's just gonna keep getting worse. The district attorney is making good on his campaign promise and ending the use of sentence enhancements such as a person's alleged gang affiliation or past criminal history, which could result in a harsher punishment. Yes, because if you shot someone twice, right, and you didn't murder them, right? You shot one individual, didn't murder him. You shot another individual, you didn't murder that individual, right? You served your time, and then you get out of prison, and you finally pop someone in the head. Well, you know what? Ignore the fact that you've gone twice before and shot people. Just ignore that, because that's irrelevant. That's not related to the fact that you're still shooting people today. Or, gang affiliation. Hey, man, you could probably make the case to me about gang affiliation. I get it, right? I don't like guilt by association, but you're literally a member of the gang. And you're going out there committing the crimes on behalf of the gang. And the DA says, well, that I don't want to see harsher sentences if you were in a gang. That's wrong. I don't want to see harsher sentences if you raped someone in the past, right? Because that's a bad thing. Don't get me, that's wrong. But if you then go out and you strangle a woman and you murder her, these are unrelated crimes. Boudin's office is also eliminating the use of California's three-strike law. So, three-strike law, that is kind of controversial. But again, this idiot has just opened the floodgates and let it all out. There's ways of addressing things like three strikes law. I'm not the biggest fan of because, let's say, in the past, as far as I understand how this would work, you got busted 3 times for weed and now you're in prison for life, right? Like that sort of thing, I'm not a fan of. I don't like it. I don't think that should exist. But at the same time, like, let's say one of those crimes was armed robbery. The next time was, assault with a deadly weapon. And the third time is assault with a deadly weapon. I'm like, you're working your way up. I think there's a smart way of addressing the 3 strikes law. Not sitting there going, like, we're just getting rid of it. We're getting rid of everything. Nothing's a crime anymore. Am I too animated over this, guys? Hey, Mike Walters, how you doing? Am I like missing something here? Is there something I don't understand? Because I'm a pretty, I'm a pretty reasonable person, and when you say things like we're gonna end cash bail, right? I sit there and go, well, you know what? I don't understand why you need to have cash bail. I don't know why someone cannot use credit if credit's becoming like the major thing. Like in this country, there are places that do not do business with cash, right? I'm not saying that I like that. I'm just being like, I can get why you wouldn't want to have cash bail, right? So let's do something smart about that. Let's not just say, oh, we're ending that and we're ending these crimes. We're making them all misdemeanors. We're not going to prosecute these other crimes. We're also going to do restorative justice. I'm going into this shit. I mentioned this earlier. I'm clicking ahead. We're going to go into his latest stupid-ass policy, but before that, SFTA, Chesa Boudin, drops charges against one of 2 suspects in viral attack on Asian man. So, this is the one guy, he's 20. This is the other one, he's 56. Now, as I understand it, he's prosecuting this guy. But the one who's 20 years old, he doesn't want to see his life ruined. He wants restorative justice. So, these individuals, they beat a Chinese guy who was recycling. He wasn't... Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to do it in the first place, but it's not like he was sitting there shouting at them and things got out of hand. No, the dude was recycling, and they came up to him, and they filmed themselves giving the guy a beat down while saying, I hate Asians on the fucking tape. Like, what the hell? There is going too far, right? And if you want to say he's 20 and I don't want to prosecute, you are the prosecutor, right? You can charge him for a lesser crime, but you don't sit there and say, I'm not going to send you, I'm not doing anything. You can just go give some dude a beat down. Go for it. You're too young to go to prison. I don't want to see your life get destroyed like my mommy and daddy's life got destroyed. Dude's got fucking issues. This fucking prosecutor has some fucked up issues. He's got some unresolved mommy and daddy issues. He needs to grow up and get the fuck over it. But also get the hell out of the district attorney's office. He's a great defense attorney. He's a great advocate for his clients. Clearly, he is a terrible prosecutor. He is a terrible individual. He's a terrible human being. I don't care how sad he is that his mother and father were in prison. That is a sad story. It is not his fault that they went to prison. It's their fault. It wasn't the police that shot themselves. The driver didn't pull the gun out on himself. They didn't ask them to. They didn't ask his parents to rob them. They made those decisions because they were violent idiots. And apparently, the idiocy runs in the goddamn family. This spoiled rich kid who went to Yale on a free scholarship, then went to fucking Venezuela and praised a dictator who removed his term limits. And we saw what happened there. We saw that one of the wealthiest nations in the entire continent of South America go broke. Their citizens eating out of the trash. And this fucking moron was sitting there going, Chavez was a great guy. like my parents. Jesus Christ. Fucking. Yeah, charges dropped. Gang initiation. Yup. That's... You nailed it! You nailed it. Hey, I mean, look. Elder abuse. They're gonna send him to rehab and have him reconcile with the old man he tried to beat the shit out of. Or sorry, did beat the shit out of. Yeah, it was gang initiation, guys. I don't know if they mentioned that in the article, but yeah, that's gang initiation. You go stop someone on the street, you beat the crap out of them to prove you're hard. They were willing to do it. The video's been taken down from YouTube. Asian man beaten while collecting bottles. Fucking. This guy is a joke. This guy is a terrible person. And I'm not saying that because his parents were terrible people, that his parents were murderous individuals. I'm not saying it because of that. That's sad. That is sad. And you know what? It's sad that they had a son at home and they would rather go out and commit violent actions against other people. That rather than being at home with their child, they'd rather go out and rob people and murder them. They didn't need the money. They didn't need the money. His parents were fucking well off. They did it because, you know, they were fighting an oppressive government. That armored truck driver, he was basically like oppressing people. So, you know, they had to shoot him. Oh, man. And now this jackass hops over from New York, not telling people that his parents violently shot 2 cops and an armored truck driver. Left him at home because they didn't care about their child. I'm going to say it flat out. You do not care about your fucking kid if you go out there and you want to be violent revolutionaries. Shooting cops. Shooting an armored truck driver because you want to steal some money that you don't even fucking need. You're not that desperate, you fucking degenerates. And these idiots then pump this dumbass's head full of shit the entire time he's growing up, and now he's enacting this beautiful progressive utopia in San Francisco, where small business owners are shutting their stores down because they're being looted and robbed daily in massive numbers. And then the jackasses who are stealing from them go right outside their business and go and sell the damn product. Fuck, man. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy to hell and back. Just a piece of shit altogether. Now, how is the DA? Because, you know, there are videos of this idiot all over YouTube going, I'm going to address it. We're going to take stances to make sure that these crimes the crimes aren't going to go up, even though they have. They've skyrocketed. This guy has barely been in office for fucking, 2 months, 3 months now? He's hardly been in office and he's already destroying the city. He hasn't been serving for fucking 3 years. We're talking a guy who's been in office for like 3 goddamn months. And it is a shit show. But how is he gonna appease the people that he has fucked over? Oh, well, you're gonna love this next one. SF auto burglary epidemic. DA Chesa Boudin wants to reimburse victims for shattered windows. Yay! He's just gonna give him money. California is fucking broke. California is fucking broke. And this idiot's response is, I'm gonna give him cash. I'm gonna give him cash. I understand that my policies led to you being the victims of a crime. I understand that, maybe they stole something valuable out of your car. I understand that maybe it was something personal to you. But hey, just turn the other cheek. I'll buy you a window. No harm, no foul, right, guys? What a fucking idiot. Just say you were wrong. Just say, hey, this was maybe me going too far. I'm going to at least put people in jail for like 3 months if I catch them doing this. We'll prosecute them for something. No, I'm just going to give you guys some cash. Don't worry about it. I understand that your window got smashed open and you had to drive around with some fucking duct tape in there, and other people could just reach into your car, grab whatever they want, maybe fucking steal it because you basically don't have a fucking window anymore. I understand that my policies led to all of that. But you know what? Trust me, I'm just gonna write you a check. Don't worry about it. Let's all be bros. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you, Chesa Boudin. Fuck you, fucking piece of garbage. Oh, man. Mike, I checked that. Was that the that was the one that you told me about in the in my last video, right? Or did you do another one? Let me know. Oh, so Mike Walters, you said that you're in SoCal on the border between LA and Orange County. So just so you know, I think I talked about it pretty briefly right before you came in. The guy who wrote Proposition 47, who is praising what Proposition 47 has brought to California, he's running to be the LA District Attorney. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, I understand that there is a place for a fucking defense attorney. I completely agree. Everybody accused of a crime deserves the best legal defense possible, right? They deserve to do what they can to defend themselves. They deserve to have an advocate that will fight for them. I completely agree with all that. And I would be fucking disgusted if there was a former district attorney or a former ADA that was turning around pretending to be an advocate, pretending to be a defense attorney, and ensuring that all of his clients got the book thrown at them. Just as I am equally disgusted by these defense attorneys, these people who have basically said, I want to legalize crime. because my mommy and daddy were in prison. I'm equally disgusted by the fact that these people are now the top cops. Like, jeez, man. You destroyed San Francisco. LA's already kind of a shithole. Hopefully they have some goddamn common sense for once in their fucked up, miserable lives. I know there are good people in LA. I know. There's a lot of people in LA. But, like, LA is a total mess. LA has been in a drought for years, and rather than conserving water, you have these jackasses in Hollywood with these goddamn infinity pools, while at the same time, LA County is using its massive population to vote to steal water from smaller counties that are responsible. None of these people care. None of these people care. None of them have ever fucking cared. It's always been about themselves. Chesa Boudin is the perfect example of all that. You think he actually cares about the victims? You think he actually even cares about helping the fucking criminals? No, this is about making his little pee-pee feel good. Because his mommy and daddy were thrown in prison. Because they deserve to be thrown in prison. And this fucking dweeb has never been able to wrap his little mind around that fact. That mommy and daddy didn't love him. The mommy and daddy would rather go shoot people in the streets and steal money than raise his sorry ass. Oh, infinity pools. They're these, like, pools that, you know, they're raised, like, right to the top with water, and you get in them, and they just kind of, like, balance themselves out. They look beautiful, but when your city's in a drought, you'd think, oof, maybe I shouldn't have one of these. No. Nope. Like, nope. We can just steal the water from somebody else. Yeah. Oh, man. So, guys, I mean, I've given you the rundown on what Proposition 47 is. We read through the history of Chesa Boudin. We've talked about the things that he's actually done. I've shown you some of the videos that people post about San Francisco. You think I'm overreacting or something? I know that I'm swearing. I know that I'm, like, raising my voice. I don't know how anybody is okay with this. And I'm starting to see that there's a lot of people in San Francisco taking to Twitter to complain. There are feminists going on about how Proposition 47 is anti-women because you're letting out people that abuse women. You know, even the lefty progressive type people are getting fed up because they're sitting there going like, this isn't what you told us. This isn't reform, this is anarchy. And yeah, you're gonna have people that don't give a shit. You're gonna have wealthy people. You have wealthy people who don't care. Who sit there and they want to feel good too. They want to feel like they fought off the oppressive police forces and shit. Don't get me wrong, man. Don't get me wrong. There are obvious issues with police, you know. There are obvious issues with, you know, the blue line and shit like that. But this moron isn't addressing any of it. He doesn't give a shit. He wants to feel good about mommy and daddy not loving him. Because mommy and daddy don't love him. Mommy and daddy never loved him. Mommy and daddy wanted to be criminals. And this soft-headed buffoon thinks that if only crimes were just not crimes, then mommy and daddy could have raised me. When in reality, mommy and daddy probably would have taken some drugs, fucking overdosed, and we would deal with this fucking degenerate in some other form. Hal Jordan Gaming. An infinity pull? Yeah, like Goku's power pull. And it extends, and as it extends, it gains the infinity gems. And then instead of snapping it, You basically just have to slap Chesa Boudin across the face with it. I'm down for that. Guys. I mean, that's the stream. San Francisco is turned into the progressive dystopia that progressives have always wanted, with restorative justice, with criminals being let off based on the color of their skin, with a focus on ensuring that if you're a minority and you're in a minority community and you're a criminal, that we're not going to prosecute you because your life's just hard enough as it is. That if you smash and grab windows, we're not going to prosecute you. That's really not your fault. You know what? The government's going to pay that tab. Chesa Boudin's got that bill for you, folks. Because he can't stop any of it. Because he can't go back on any of the twisted little visions that he's promised the people. Instead, he has to try to appease them, try to give them money, try to give them something. Because he knows. He has to know at this point that the people cannot stand him. That the city is in chaos. And it has only been how many months? He got sworn in, January, December? So we're talking 2 to 3 months. And people are already waking up to what a fucking horrible decision they made. Mike Walters, my latest on the mic episode. Yeah, okay. That was the one that you sent me in the video. Do you see that I posted subtitle in my latest video? No, I did. Do you know that I watched your video? I watch everyone's videos. Or at least I turn them on in the background. My fiance is in California doing a rugby thing for the weekend. She's coming back, and I am not sleeping just because it's tough, right? You get used to sleeping a certain way, and I'm just staying up late at night watching everyone's YouTube channels. A lot of fun. Dave Marks, that guy used to be kicked out of California. No, Dave Marks. He should stay in California with the other batshit crazy progressives and not infect the rest of the country. God. I'm gonna chop up the stream here. Yeah, into the Pacific, yeah. Yeah. I should probably drop you comments when I watch your stuff, but I'm watching them on my PlayStation, so I'll do it from my phone. But guys, that's... Actually, no, Kyle, I don't think I watched... Wait, what video did you do? Hold on. You just post a new one? I've seen your World War Z videos, but they're lame. I seen the World War Z stuff though. That was fun. What? No. Check it out. It's actually not bad. I'm really low budget, as you can see. So, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of the stream today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to me shout at my laptop. It's very therapeutic as I watch my hometown turn into an unrecognizable fucking mess. Doing this was very it helped clear a weight off of my shoulders. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream, guys. I'm gonna play the... So what did you think of my latest video? What did I think of your latest video? Well, I agree with you. Oh man, guys, I'm ending the stream right now. I gotta get on the phone with my fiance. Finally get back to talking to her. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna turn up the music. This is Guantanamo from Novo Beats. His link is in the description. He has a channel on BeatStars if you want to download. Most of the stuff he has up there is totally free to the viewer. Please do me a favor if you can. The Patreon link is in the description. Kyle Jordan Gaming, the person who actually turns around and always promotes the Patreon, because I totally forget to promote the Patreon, has reminded you all that it's just $1, just one small dollar. Good night, folks.
Novo. Novo.